We have been hearing that open, secure, hybrid, multi-cloud architecture is the basis of future-proofing and success. Let's hear from Jayanta Banerjee, Global CIO, Tata Steel, on how he is transforming his organization and future-proofing for success.
Jayanta, a very warm welcome to IBM Think Digital Summit 2020. As always, it's a pleasure to have you share with us some of the fantastic things that you've been doing at Tata Steel. Jayanta, you are at the forefront of change at Tata Steel much before COVID started. And I would like to know today and share with us what triggered this technology-led business transformation at Tata Steel.
Okay. So first of all, thank you very much for having me on your platform. It's always nice to chat with you, Venu. So change in Tata Steel and when it comes to technology, I think it is nothing new to Tata Steel. Tata Steel has been adopting technology-led change and technology in general since time immemorial, right? So this whole digital technology adoption in Tata Steel started way back in around 2015, 2016. So in terms of the leadership vision to create a belief system to start with, right? So what Tata Steel at that time did is took our entire senior leadership for a go and see the companies in the West, go and see technology companies, not necessarily only in the steel industry and across industries, and see that, okay, what is the art of possible, right? So that go and see actually helped leadership understand that, okay, yes, there is something possible and technology can do wonders. So that was the first step. Then what the company did, took a very innovative initiative called reverse mentoring, right? They went through a very stringent selection process of talent, young talent, less than 30 years, and all the senior people, the very mostly 50 plus or in that range, they made all these young leaders as their mentor. So that's why we call it a reverse mentor program. And the selection process was very stringent in terms of selecting the mentors who are technically aligned, they are energetic, they want to play that role. And that helped in understanding, again, the art of possible, what the new generation is talking about, what the technocrats are talking about, which otherwise you would find it a little embarrassing to ask that question in a different forum, but you would ask it in a one-on-one meeting that, oh, is it possible? Oh, I didn't know that. And that actually trained and changed the leadership mindset in Tata Steel. And I think that's a fantastic initiative that happened. Post that, structurally, at that time, there was an initiative called Digital Value Acceleration that Tata Steel embarked on. It was called the DVAT team, Digital Value Acceleration Team. The purpose and idea of that team was to kind of do this proof of concepts and point solutions and show that how digital works and how it creates business value and all that. So a combination of all these three from around 2015, 2016 till up to 2018, late 2017, those 3 years, that created a belief system in the company that yes, we should adopt digital and technology will lead us from where we are today. And as you know, Tata Steel is a Deming company. We are a Deming Grand Prize winner, and our focus on process is really, really up to that level, right? Everything is processified. We are very religious about process. But we also understand that, okay, the process excellence brought us here. But if you have to go from here, technology excellence has to come in and digital adoption is going to be key. The realization was there. Then there was a structural intervention, and at that time I joined from TCS, as you know, into Tata Steel as a part of group transfer. And at that time, there was a structural intervention to bring the automation, that is the industrial IoT team, the level 2 systems team, the automation team, the digital value acceleration team, and the IT team together to create a one IT structure, right? And since then, it is a journey that you have also seen very closely, IBM. The point is that we have made a strategy that technology will be the driver, technology will be the enabler, but it will be a business transformation. So towards the middle of 2018, we gave ourselves an audacious goal, a target of adding to the bottom line, saving a EBITDA target of around $2 billion US over a span of around 4 to 5 years. So that is an audacious target, right? And it gave us a North Star. So the point is that how to leverage technology, how to leverage digital technologies that work anywhere in the world. We have stopped doing POCs, that if it has worked somewhere, that means the technology works. The point is to contextualize the technology in the context of business and create a business value. So we made it a business first digitally enabled transformation program. And the business KPI has to move fundamentally, whether it is an yield, energy, throughput, quality, whether I am doing an analytical model in the industrial area, in the shop floor, or I am doing an analytical model in procurement or HR or anywhere, finance and wherever. So that is fundamentally digitally enabled but business first approach, with business owning the KPIs enabled by technology to create a business outcome value, which will go into a 2 billion EBITDA addition. Happy to report that we have a 1 billion line of sight today. We have already created half a billion, already projects are completed, and the potential is there for business to accrue. Around 200 million is cash in bank already, because it has to be in that order, because 1 billion is what we see out of the 2 billion that we have a visibility. Half a billion of it is fundamentally the projects are completed. If the business allows those models to run, they will actually put 500 million cash in bank. Today, up to 200 million is already cashed. So we are good with the progress. So that is where we are.
What you just laid out, Jayanta, clearly tells us that your journey started much before COVID started, and that belies the joke that keeps doing in the social media that COVID was the biggest change agent for digital transformation in companies. And actually, what you set rolling in 2015-16, as per you, is already started yielding results. But
but also to that point, Venu, sorry to interrupt. The point is that COVID did accelerate. Okay, and as a CIO, I might hate to say it, but I have to say that's the truth, that COVID did accelerate the adoption. So the point is that the technology is there. Yeah, for example, many of our Tata Steel leaders say that, like we are talking here, right? Or it's Microsoft Teams or any audio visual mechanism that we use to do our daily job today. All the software was available prior to COVID also. But how many times we used it? We never used it. We used to go to office and do those physical meetings. So constraint has pushed us into this, and we are doing it, right? So adoption has skyrocketed, and that has helped. That is always there. But the point is that yes, it is a change agent, and it is an accelerated agent, I would say. But at the same time, the investments we have made prior to COVID helped the company actually handle COVID. The entire pandemic response was digitally enabled. So that helped us, and all our investments have been more than remunerative. We didn't do anything specially for COVID, that once COVID hit, we get into a distress mode and panic mode and try to do something. No, we were ready, and it was a seamless integration into work from home and all the other stuff that we are doing now.
That's good to hear, Jayanta, and actually that's the expectation that we have, the industry has from Tata Steel, who is a pioneer in adopting technology. But let me ask you something different. We know you've been ready with this transformation journey, and you had everything, all the ingredients ready with you, and you could quickly shift from remote working. All your business functions continued. But from the time we know, steel making is a very hugely physical process, and people need to be there for you to make the steel. How did you manage that piece while ensuring worker safety, other employee safety, stakeholders, and also ensuring that security of your data centers and your data? That's a complex task to achieve. So how did you do that? And I know that we also know the whole world saw you moving to the clouds, and how did that really help you in this task?
Yeah. So the good question, and easier said than done, obviously. But the point is, the investments that we made prior to COVID towards the digital transformation really was paid off. It was more than remunerative, right? So what we did, as you know, that first of all, we focused on connectivity in a big way, and we actually spent big money in the connectivity, network, cybersecurity, in the first 1.5 year or maybe 2 years in the journey. The reason being then, see, Tata Steel, and given the steel industry, given that we have our own captive mines, we are located in many remote locations, right? And not necessarily so that we are well connected in this part of the world. So it was inevitable that we have to connect, because I always believe in one thing, that you have to build the road before building the car. And that's a strong belief I started working on, because there is no point in creating a digital application or creating a very simple, fantastic visualization dashboard and giving it to user without giving them an internet connection. It's never going to work, right? So no adoption will be there. It is just a recipe for failure. So what we did is that we invested a lot in infrastructure, the connectivity to start with, the network to start with. It did not have an immediate ROI, right? But it actually, we could see gradually as it got built up, people started connecting and people started getting access to systems and all that good things started happening. Then we invested, before we put the data in motion, we invested heavily into cyber security. And then we said that I looked at my data center, and you were there, you are our partners managing the on-prem data center at that time too. We looked at the data center and the entire physicality of it. When I looked at it as a CIO, that what am I doing in managing the data center? It's an air conditioning, it's occupying real estate, it's a physical risk, and you add the weather, the everything peril, and all those switches going wrong and all that. Is it the real job, or the job is to actually keep the business up and going and creating business value by driving analytical algorithms and talking to business, understanding new use cases and implementing the same? So at that time, we asked you guys that, okay, why don't you look at it? And I need this thing to go off. It also has an environmental factor, right? So the data centers that you guys manage onto cloud or any other cloud provider will do are much more greener, much more sophisticated. I don't want to do every 5-year refresh. So it should be automatically there. So those were the conversations at that point in time. So we made those investments, and you know that you have been a part of the journey, and you are still stayed invested with Tata Steel. That it took us around 18 months to kind of do the cloud affinity analysis, and we did the pretty large scale S4HANA cloud migration, big bang, one go, right? We said take it all, right? Nothing should be there. Today, happy to report that around 80 to 85% of our entire estate is on cloud, not only on IBM cloud, but also on Google or Microsoft and Amazon. So different aspects. The enterprise system is on IBM cloud, and the analytical is on the Google and the Amazon, and the collaboration platform on Azure. So we have done that with the strategy. 10 to 15% of the estate is by design on-prem. Like our manufacturing execution system, we kept it on-prem. Because just as an example, in Kalinganagar, when the cyclone hit, there was not a single downtime, even the entire grid was down. We could still run our mills. And that is by design, because we cannot afford to lose production. And it's a continuous operation. We just cannot afford to lose it. Now then, all that, in a nutshell, I can say it was an anytime, anywhere compute. That platform was already built, right? We had all the ability to connect like this, work like this. It was already there. Then COVID happened, and this whole platform got repurposed immediately on the day one. That okay, now we can virtually talk and do the meetings and all that. Now, if the data was not on the cloud, if the infrastructure was not enabled by then, it would have been very difficult time for us to do that anytime, anywhere compute that we are doing today. So that was a good investment, and we are proud of it. The other aspect is there's a COVID response, right? So you asked the question that physical steel making is a physical work, and how does it become virtual? No, it has not become virtual. What has happened is the first step is to move the easy candidates that can move. Like if you look at IT, finance, HR, procurement, it is just SAP transaction at the end of the day, right? What is procurement doing? Is it doing transaction in the system, running a process. That was easily movable from on-site to off-site. Now, if you can access SAP from anywhere in the world, then that transition was seamless. There was absolutely no reason, no roadblock there. Coming to workers who are actually handling machines and handling equipments and coming to work, we have to run that as a continuous operation. So what we did, we made an investment, you might be knowing, on the connected workforce platform. So which is fundamentally the entire company is geo-first through a LoRaWAN technology. So we can track every employee movement, every contractor movement with a smart card, right? So we can do that today. So that investment was made. So with that, what happened? Anybody who is coming to the gate, and we have developed a questionnaire to say that, okay, but what are the health parameters, like Arugya said, similar questionnaires, what has been your travel history and all that. We could assess their real time, their health parameter, what is the risk. And accordingly, we color coded red, amber, green. And depending on the risk status, we allowed them entry into the office premises, or we did not allow entry in the office premises. So, and we did real time contact tracing. That particular solution, that platform really helped us to ride over the pandemic. That was the digital response to the entire thing. We used image analytics to maintain social distancing. We had that camera network all over the company, and we analyzed those images and said that these two people are not 6 feet apart, right? And we could send real-time alerts for the managers on the ground to go and then do dispersal of crowd, or alert people to maintain social distance, whether it is canteen, whether it is at workplace, anywhere. We actually could detect whether you're wearing a mask or a shield, or you're not wearing a mask or a shield, and we could intervene real time, right? When we find a person who unfortunately got infected, and we could do the real time contact tracing, who came within 6 feet within that person real time, and we could take them into quarantine, give them into take them into medical treatment, and all the protocols that we have to follow. Also, when government declared the containment zone, we exactly knew that how many people from that zone will not be able to come to work the next day. And accordingly, the operational managers and the vice presidents of the businesses, they could take a call that I will lose this workforce tomorrow, so I have to go into plan B. So all that thing really worked out for us across Tata Steel. So this particular connected workforce system, it also was a COVID response. It was a safety response, because when somebody is in trouble, as a safety issue, I can immediately send people to retrieve. So it is a security response as well, plus also a productivity response that really helped us ride this tide and still continue.
You know, what you just narrated, I mean, going to cloud, journey to cloud is just a part of the job done. But what you did after going to cloud, and the way COVID maybe pushed you to do some of these innovations, I think that's a fantastic usage of how cloud can really be used when you deploy it in the right way. And you spoke about how 80% of your workloads are already on cloud, whereas the industry statistic tells us that only 20% of the workloads have actually moved to cloud and 80% are not yet. You're on the you actually flip the equation. 80% has moved and only 20% is
It is
still on.
85% to be precise. It is 85.
You cross the benchmark of even what the industry analysts prescribe. Uh, there are a lot of CIOs who definitely have this in their plan to go to the cloud, and the journey, like you said, is not about just going to public cloud. It's about hybrid multi-cloud journey, and that's going to be the reality of future. What would be your advice to your fellow CIOs who have this very clearly in their strategy, in their plan, but obviously there will be a perception of risk in their mind or hesitation, but having taken this journey and seen the benefits, what would be your advice and recommendations to them?
So I think I said this in one of your event, I think 2 years back, and I don't remember. I used an acronym called SAFER. I said cloud is safer, if I remember correctly. I won't know whether it is what's the full form, but anyway. So the point is that see, we have to just take a call, and I believe in a big bang approach that you take a call and just go for it, right? You cannot analyze. You will definitely go through the affinity analysis. You will go through all the risk mitigation plans. You will do a lot of analysis, all done. But some point in time, you have to just take a call, and once you have taken that decision, you have to just make the decision right, right? So there is no decision that is right unless it has been proven right after it has been executed, right? So you cannot say a decision is right or wrong after or while you're taking the decision. It has to be executed well. I think the point is that we just believed that journey to cloud is the right thing to do, and we also believe that it will be multi-cloud, right? So depending on which area we want to move on which cloud, it will also that actually gave us a risk mitigated approach. We just didn't put all the eggs in one basket. We said enterprise onto this cloud and analytics onto the other cloud, depending on the power and prowess of individual providers who brought in. And the point is, it proved us right today, right? So and it was a journey, and there was a lot of execution. There were challenges, and we have gone through a lot of analysis and a lot of execution challenges, technicalities, but they are behind us today. So the point is, my advice would be just take a call and go ahead, fast forward, and it will work out. It will work out.
Yeah, I'm sure it will work out, and that's what your track record tells us, Jayanta. You've been in the forefront of this entire change at Tata Steel, and even during COVID, you kept Tata Steel fighting fit. But I also know that you yourself are a fitness enthusiast. So how did you keep yourself fit during this lockdown?
So it is all adaptation. So you know that I used to go to the gym quite often, and I'm an avid gymmer. But then I started running, and I used to run, and I just increased my running. But during COVID, there was curfew, and I just could not go for my run. So I started again back to my other gymming activity at home only, free hand exercise and all that stuff. And then again started running once the curfew was lifted, running and physical activities, other physical activities. So just keep on doing it. I will go for my run tonight also with my son. And I love to compete with the youngers, with the 18, 19, 20, 22 years old. That gives you that extra competition and the motivation that you need.
I don't think the younger ones can compete with you, Jayanta. You look as fit or even fitter than earlier. Uh, it's always a pleasure talking to you, Jayanta. Fantastic. Thank you for sharing your valuable thoughts and experience with us and a whole lot of other CIOs, fellow CIOs in this group. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Mr. Banerjee, for sharing what hybrid cloud can do for organizations.